Hello friends, welcome to youtube.com oblique Dr. Ved channel. I'm Dr. P.R. Patel, Professor and Head, Veterinary Medicine. We discuss here important bacterial disease, tetanus. In part 2, we'll discuss detail about pathogenesis of tetanus. Friends, we discuss here pathogenesis of tetanus. Clostridium tetani enter through broken skin or injury, but simply entry of organism does not cause tetanus. The spores of Clostridium tetani are unable to grow in normal tissue. Remember, they are unable to grow. They won't grow in normal tissue. They are unable to grow in wound at oxidation reduction potential of circulating blood. So when circulating blood is there, it provides oxygen. So again, because of this oxygen, the Clostridium tetani organisms are unable to grow. Continue with pathogenesis. The growth of Clostridium tetani occur under certain favorable conditions. Here we have mentioned favorable conditions for the development of tetanus. First, access of spores or entry of spores in the body tissue is a prerequisite thing. Second, low oxygen tension in the affected tissue. That is important favorable condition, low oxygen tension. When there is tissue damage, it results into localized impairment in blood oxygen supply. And this creates anaerobic condition. When anaerobic condition is there, it leads to germination of spores and multiplication of the Clostridium tetani. So anaerobic condition is the favorable condition for the germination and multiplication. Continuation of pathogenesis. On germination of the spores, the vegetative growth occurs very rapidly and the organism releases three types of the toxin. Tetanospasmin, which is a very important toxin, it is a neurotoxin. Tetanolysin, that is hemolysin, it is not much important. And the fibrinolysin, muscle and tissue cell lysin, it is also not very much important. The tetanospasmin neurotoxin is very important and a potent toxin, which is responsible for producing the symptoms. So the classical manifestation we see, the spasmodic contraction of muscles, is due to action of tetanospasmin neurotoxin in brain and spinal cord. Continue with pathogenesis. The toxin absorbed, which is produced by the organism by motor nerves of the infected area. So here first the toxin is absorbed by motor nerves of the infected area. Then toxin passes up the nerve tract and reach to the spinal cord. Now here the neurotoxin causes ascending tetanus, peculiar. The toxin produces spasmodic tonic contraction of voluntary muscles by interfering with neurotransmitters from the nerve endings. Continue with the pathogenesis. We have already seen if the toxin is less in amount, what will happen. Now, if the toxin is produced in more quantity at the site of infection, then what will happen? The surrounding nerves take up the toxin. Then the excessive toxin is carried to the lymph, and from the lymph it enters into the blood circulation. And when it reaches to the blood circulation, the toxin is carried to the central nervous system. So when the quantity of toxin produced is more, then it enters to the lymph, then enters into the blood circulation and reaches to the central nervous system. Continuation with the pathogenesis. Now the toxin, if it is more in quantity, it reaches to the central nervous system. And from there, it causes descending tetanus. Previously, we have seen at the spinal cord ascending tetanus. Here, from CNS, there is a descending tetanus, and there is characteristic symptoms: a severe spasmodic tonic contraction of skeletal muscles, and this spasmodic tonic contraction is initiated or aggravated on a very minor stimulation of the animal. Even a normal stimulation also aggravates the condition. If the more critical symptoms, there is respiratory failure due to spasms of larynx, intercostal muscles, and diaphragm. Then the case becomes very severe. Continue with the pathogenesis. The affection of autonomic nervous system affects the heart. There is cardiac arrhythmia, tachycardia, and hypertension. The case becomes more severe. Chances of recovery is very less, and death usually occurs due to asphyxiation, due to fixation of respiratory muscles because of spasms of the respiratory muscles. Mortality in horse is 50% and in cattle 80%. Friends, we discuss here pathogenesis in bit detail. What will happen if the toxin produces less? What will happen if the toxin is more? And slowly how the symptoms are progressing to a severe condition that leads to the death of the animal. Please share this information to veterinarians and veterinary friends, students, to promote the channel, subscribe the channel. Thank you very much for observing this video.